You may be living in one and not even know it, but worse, it could be hurting your health and your family's health.
We're talking about homes once used to cook methamphetamine. The problem? Investigative reporter PJ Randawa finds even though the criminals may be gone, the dangerous chemicals they use to make this illegal drug can linger for years.
This is the only safe way to get near a meth lab. You need a gas mask, gloves, and a full-body hazmat suit like this one. Why? Because the chemicals used to make this illegal drug can kill you. So why are so many Missouri families, did you know there was a meth lab here? Living in former meth labs. From Arnold, nobody ever told you that?
No, they didn't.
To St. Charles. Did anyone ever tell you that?
No.
Nobody told me anything about the history of the house. I had no idea.
In fact, in Missouri, we found more than 3,000 homes that used to be meth labs. 95 of them are right here in the St. Louis area.
It's going to cause lots of health problems.
Meet St. Louis County Detective Ed Bagley. He and his crew have busted hundreds of local meth labs.
I've been in them, and the guys I work with have been in these so much.
And even though they wore protective suits, Bagley and his colleagues are still worried.
Somewhere down the line that we're going to be hit with, you got cancer.
And this detective says long after the lab is gone, what's left behind can make you sick. That's because those meth-making chemicals emit fumes that can seep into floors, walls, ceilings. They can damage your liver, your kidneys, and your nervous system. And it's even more dangerous for children.
I had an infant son. I didn't know if it would have any kind of health consequences on him.
Jared and his family had been living here for a year when neighbors filled him in on the house's history. How did you feel after you heard that?
Devastated.
I have a kid crawling around the carpet.
Alicia Jessman didn't discover the home she was buying in St. John was contaminated with meth until she was about to close.
I mean, all the window treatments were contaminated. Everything was contaminated. And that's what upset us, was because that wasn't disclosed.
The thing is, if a home used to be a meth lab, in Missouri, the seller must tell the buyer. That's the law. The problem? Break it, and there's no penalty whatsoever. Even worse, there's no state law that even requires these homes to be properly cleaned up. Do you think that there should be stronger laws in place to...
Absolutely. You don't even have to finish that question. After all the stresses that I went through, we need to do something.
So we paid a visit to State Senator Paul Wieland. Do you think the current laws, are they keeping families from moving into these meth labs?
To me, that's one of the things I think that maybe the state and the federal government are falling down on.
Wieland's district includes Jefferson County, which has been hard hit by this problem. He says without any penalties, the current meth home law is useless.
It's just like you could put up a sign that says 10 miles an hour driving down the street, and if no one is ever there to write a ticket, people will drive as fast as they want.
Are you committing today to formulate some sort of legislation in the coming session?
Absolutely. I will set up a meeting and we'll all get together in a room and we'll talk about how we are as a state addressing this issue and what loopholes there might be and what we can better do to do that. And I'll tell you, I would get that done before Thanksgiving. How's that?
So do you want to know if your home used to be a meth lab? Well, you can find out with a database we put together for you. Head to our website at KSDK.com and look for this story.
Well, I'm really curious because some of those homes look very nice. So how does someone protect themselves from buying one of these homes?
It can be difficult to tell, right? Well, one thing that you can do is talk to your neighbors. Ask them if they've noticed any strange activity around the home. And another thing you should consider doing is talking to the local police department. They often have a better idea of what calls they've gone to at that residence, and they tell us they'd be happy to let people know what they know about a certain property.
People don't usually call the police before they buy a home, so that's good advice.
Yeah, there's a lot going on when you buy a home too, though, so it's kind of the last thing on your mind. It's a shame people have to think about that. And I just see that video of a baby on a carpet. And if it's not a baby or toddler's picking up everything and off the carpet and putting it in their mouth, so it's just everywhere.
And the contamination can last several years. So it's not just, once the lab is gone, you may not be safe.
PJ, good information. Thank you.